that's just begun. But the joy of today is that we can all be proud to say,
Young, gifted, and black. Hmm. That's not a fact.
oh yeah, that's where we stand. That's where we stand. Oh, just give them back. That's where we stand. That's where we stand. Young, gifted, and black. Young, gifted, and black. That's where we stand. That's where we stand. That's where we stand. That's where we stand. Oh, gifted, and black. Gifted, and black.
Yes, experience matters a lot, and you find that in age. The fact that someone must have come of age. That's why you find that experience about because of the time the person must have spent on earth. The time the person must have spent on in the labor market, and that's why experience matters a lot. But the role of the youth in the society is very much important. You're welcome back to Street Report on Ebona, the 103.5 FM. I am the one and only Martin Ifan Shuku AKZ as our number the first, the one that I call the metal. The reason why I'm talking about this thing today is the fact that you talk about a lot of things and the youths believe they are not part of it. Even when they play a role in that particular thing, they will look at it, that they are not the key actors or they are not the key character in that particular thing. Like for example, if you talk about politics, for example, most youths will believe now we are not involved in that. But snatching of ballot boxes and all of that will now be maybe the role some of them will look at. Like yes, this is the one we can play and then get something out of it at the end of the day. But the truth is that even if the youth don't take the leadership position in politics as much as they should, what about the leadership in technology? What about the leadership in information technology? Information communication technology and all of that. Now, if you look at somebody like Elon Musk now, for example, you won't call him a leader in politics. Though he's rich and all of that, but he's not a leader in politics. These are leaders in tech, technology, in information communication technology, in all kinds, because Elon Musk cuts across not just information communication technology, even that of speaks technology, and a lot of things. So why can't the youth of Nigeria live even in those areas? And the reason why, the EFCC boss, Olukoyede, is saying what he's saying is because he knows at least that the youth at least can lead in technology. If the youth begin to make moves, that will take them towards where they need to get to, nobody will hold them back when it comes to that aspect. At the same time, even in politics, I believe that if the youth organize themselves very well, nobody will even hold them back in politics. And I think it's the case of mentality, understanding that yes, I am in the sport to play that leadership role now as a youth, it is a state of mind on a very good day. Yes, I told you about Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and his contribution. When he developed the West African Pilot, was a newspaper launched in Nigeria by Nnamdi Azikiwe in 1937, dedicated to fighting for independence from British colonial rule. It is most known for introducing popular journalism within Nigeria. The main focus of the newspaper was to promote Nigerian independence from colonial rule. Football was a topic often used with the media to promote these various arguments of independence with humanistic language and powerful ideas. The West African pilot successfully promoted the humanity of African workers in the colonized world. The newspaper dismissed the idea that sports and politics are to be separated, further supporting Africans' connection to the game and adding specific cultural impact to the game itself. This supported a new kind of identity pertinent to the Nigerian people. Through fictional stories and football centered symbolism, the newspaper was even said to have created the possibility of new form of imagined community, setting the stage for how a modern society should be. So, a particular individual used his tool, his brain, to transform the society from what it used to be at the end of the day. So, the youth today, can't the youth do the same today? Talking about other leaders that played role, leadership role as youth, then we look at somebody like Yakubu Gowon and what he did. Now, Yakubu Gowon was born October 19, 1934. He's a Nigerian military leader who served as head of state in 1966 to 1975. Gowon was born in what is now Plateau State in the middle belt of Nigeria. His father was an early convert to Christianity. Gowon was educated in Zaria, now in Kaduna State, and later became a career army officer. He was trained in Ghana and England at Sandhurst and twice served in the Congo region as part of Nigeria's peacekeeping force there in the early 1960s. In Nigeria, after the coup of January 1966, he was appointed chief of staff to Major General Johnson Aguiyi Ironsi, the country's new leader. Northern officers staged a counter coup in July 1966, and Gowon emerged as the compromise head of the new government. Gowon tried to resolve the ethnic tensions that threatened to fatally divide Nigeria. Although he was eventually successful in ending attacks against Igbo in the north, he was unable to effect a more lasting peace in a final attempt to resolve the conflict on May 27, 1967. So you see all this thing that he was doing then, he did it as a youth, and that's the thing. Now, a lot of people came into leadership as at the time. Yakubu Gowon was 31 years old as head of state of Nigeria. Mutara Muhammad was 36 years old. When he became the head of state. Olusegun Obasanjo was 38 years old when he became, the head of state. Somebody like Muhammad Buhari became head of state as at 41 years old. Johnson Aguiyi-Ironsi became head of state at 41 years old. Ibrahim Babangida, 44. And the list goes on and on. But with time, it began to drop. It now began to look as a situation whereby if you're not of age, you can't be a leader in this part of the world. Yes, the EFCC boss said what he said, and it is a call for the Nigerian youth to sit up, and do the needful, using our brain, to make better or to better the society, building a better future with our brain. Just the way, I just described it now, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the way he used his brain to transform his society, began to make, the Nigerian workers to look better in the eyes of the world, to even look as human that must be treated better, at the end. But today in Nigeria, there is one person, everybody will look at and they will be like, yes, this is a youth that is leading. In as much as, yes, he does not have a leadership position in politics or anywhere, but this young man has gone as far as going to address, the House of Assembly about issues. So that shows that he's playing that leadership role. And I'm talking about no other than very dark man. That's the person I'm talking about now. So, Very Dark Man is a young black man in his early 30s, renowned as a TikTok sensation who rose to prominence for his dedicated efforts in exposing skincare brands operating without the necessary certifications. He also widely recognized as a prominent advocate for public safety on his TikTok page, garnering support from the masses. Very Dark Man, also known as Black Man, hails from Edo State, Nigeria, where he was born and raised. His formative years were spent in this cultural rich and vibrant region, shaping his perspective and values. While his activism and public presence are well documented, there is a noticeable absence of publicly available information regarding his family background and educational history. These aspects of his life remain undisclosed, adding on air of mystery to the persona of the Very Dark Man. But most Nigerians today will tell you, yes, if somebody like this should make it into office, as maybe make it into office, political office, there will be a lot of changes because already he's even affecting change now that he's just, there as a civilian on his own. Though he might not be the perfect example, but one thing is for sure, Very Dark Man is one person a lot of people will ask today, is this not what you're supposed to be doing as a youth? What he's doing. His real name is Martins Vincent Jose. Born April 8th April 1994. He's known as Very